Well, hello everyone. Stephanie Cox here, spiritual empowerment coach, mentor, and psychic medium. So today, what I thought I would give you guys is 5 tips on setting your boundaries as an empath, because that is one of the biggest things. I call it one of the 5 pillars, because we as empaths, we think that we have to allow people to cross our boundaries, and we don't have to. We really don't. And a lot of the reasons, and it's actually tip number 5, a lot of the reasons that we do that is because we think that we're going to get more love or more attention, or it could be a number of things, but you have to figure that out for yourself. But for me, it was just more love. So tip number 1, guess what? It is okay to say no and mean it. And sometimes I had a really good friend say to me, she said, Steph, sometimes people need to learn how to say no and mean it, and the other person has to hear it. So it's okay to say no. And here's the other thing too, when we're talking about boundaries, say for example, you have friends that want to go do things and you just feel like you just want to recharge your batteries, and you feel like you just want to stay home and just be, right? It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to people when they're asking you to do tasks that they could do for themselves. So I want you to know it's okay to say no there too. The universe is not going to hate you for saying no. Trust me on this. Number 2, realize and become conscious of when you start allowing people to cross your boundaries, because when people cross your boundaries, it does mean that we're allowing it. So this was one thing I had to be truly honest with myself on. I realized that I was allowing people to cross my boundaries, and I had to figure out how to be more conscious of that so that I could stop allowing it, and in a positive way, in a loving way for myself, if that makes sense. And tip number 3 is really understand your anger. I found that for myself, now, I was using anger to set boundaries in a big way. So I felt if people were crossing my boundaries, I would become angry if they were crossing my boundaries. And again, this is where you're becoming a conscious observer of your thoughts and feelings, because when you do that, you can shift and change your energy once you recognize. Because once you are conscious of it, you have power over it instead of it having power over you. Absolutely, Susan. Absolutely. So, and tip number 4, stick to your boundaries. You set those boundaries. It's okay to stick to them. Okay? Now, I get it. Sometimes there's some altering that has to be done, but stick to your boundaries. And of course, like I said, number 5, sometimes sometimes we empaths, we like to allow people to cross our boundaries because we feel that if they are crossing those boundaries, that we're going to get more love. And that is really not the case. Sometimes they will just use it to their advantage. And now, here's the thing. I don't want you to take that and go, oh, I'm going to be the victim. No, you are not a victim. That's why I'm saying stick to your boundaries. Okay, and be consciously aware of when you're allowing people to cross your boundaries, because you are not a victim. You are not. And I know as an empath, again, being a victim is actually one of the 5 pillars that I have realized in my own journey as an empath. So it's important for us to realize that we are not victims and be consciously aware when we are thinking that we are a victim. And when we're blaming or when we're feeling attacked, that's when we are being a victim. So be conscious of that. And you can change that. Okay, I know this isn't part of, 5 tips to setting boundaries, but be conscious of when you feel like you're being a victim, because you can change that energy. Be an empowered empath. That's what this whole page is about, and that's what I want you to be. So I hope this message finds you well. And of course, if you guys have any questions, put them on this page and I will answer them to the best of my abilities. Or if I can't answer them, I'm sure my guides will answer them for you. So any metaphysical questions, just put them right here. So again, I hope this message finds you well. I'm sending you all much love, much light. I'm glad that hits home for you, Susan. I hope it helps, those 5 tips. So I'm sending you all much love, much light. Create an amazing day.